Hello and welcome to the Gamescast and welcome back to FSX once again. Now today is different. Reith is going to teach me how to fly this aircraft. This is a Cessna 172 and it's by Carenado.
182T
182
actually.
T stands for turbo, I believe.
Yes, previously we've done videos where Hamish has been teaching me how to fly. Those were the first times I ever flew on FSX, and now we're doing it's sort of roles reversed.
Yeah.
I've been learning how to use this plane the last few days and stuff, and I quite like it. It uses GPS that I'm quite used to using in the past as well, so it's quite good. It's also Carenado, which
yes.
It's not a default plane. You can probably tell that by the look of it. It looks way better than the default planes. So
it's incredible texture.
So yeah, it costs. I'm not sure. It costs like
$40, I believe.
Yeah, it was like 30 quid or something like that. Or $40 or whatever you want to call it. And so if you want to go pick that up, it's really good, and yeah, I advise anyone to get it because it is really good, especially in comparison to the
This is also
172, which we started learning it.
This is also actually a Steam Edition version on Carenado's site. They've got a range called Steam Edition. I believe that means that's why it's working pretty well on land, which we haven't
Yeah,
said.
it's recently also been updated and stuff, so it's a lot less glitchy than sort of modded planes with GPSs in them generally are.
This is Shoreham, EGKA, and just Rebecca.
Yeah, so Shoreham, the airport we normally fly from on this channel.
Look at these trees, Reith. These are. This is actually all trees HD. That's
just going on about the trees and stuff. Anyway, so let's get started with this training video.
Right, can't ramble on for too long because we've already recorded this.
We already recorded all this and then we ran out of power and stuff. So let's get started again.
Right. Okay. So
the first thing we want to do is turn the plane on. So you have to turn the electrics on. You see on your left-hand side those two switches. The two main switches, the red one and the right one. You want to turn both the red ones on and the white one on.
And the fuel pump.
And that turns the electrics on. Is that the fuel pump sound? You've already flicked the fuel pump. Okay. Well,
it's obviously saved the state.
Right. Okay. So the fuel pump has been flicked.
Yeah.
The as Hamish pointed out, the two the mixtures and whatever. Propeller, they're both in, which is good. And
this
now
is obviously
now all you need to do is turn the key.
Hey, this has reverse thrust, did you know?
It doesn't really have reverse thrust.
Well, no, look.
Yeah, but it doesn't have reverse thrust.
No, okay, well we can try.
So anyway, and now if you just look over at the key before you flood the engine with the fuel pump, if you just turn the key, and there we go, you can turn the fuel pump off now.
Chugs into life.
You can turn the fuel pump off.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and there we go. So we're not going anywhere with the parking brake on at the moment. We're all good. So now the plane is switched on.
Oh, look at that.
Normally when you load into the plane, this is like the view you'll be met with. Everything switched on for you. If you want to do cold and dark, that is from cold and dark.
That is pretty much all you have to do. It's so simple.
Okay, so
if you're wondering what all these other things are, these are all lights and stuff.
Yeah,
not gonna need
I mean we can show them.
This also actually isn't a realistic time. This is actually the daytime.
Yeah, but I mean you might be watching this in the daytime, so for the viewers it could just be fine. For us it is actually like the middle of the night right now. Yeah. So as you can see, you've got two screens. On your left you've got the PFD. Yeah. And on your right you've got the MFD.
Yeah.
The PFD has all your information.
Primary flight display and main flight display, I believe.
The PFD will show all your altitudes and stuff like that, and your MFD, as shown by Hamish here, we have the
here's a route I made earlier. The magic of TV. It saved the state of an aircraft, which is awesome.
So there's actually conveniently one waypoint left to put in. So these are all waypoints we put in earlier. And to show the viewers how to put a waypoint in, we can show them. So if you use the innermost knob on the FMS control, you can scroll down the different waypoints.
Okay.
You want to scroll down all the way to the bottom.
Okay.
Where you use the outer knob once you're on the selected region. to say, right, I want to put in a waypoint.
Okay.
This waypoint's going to be slightly different because this is an airport we're putting in rather than a waypoint. Right. It works exactly the same way. You just put 4 letters in instead of...
Echo Golf Kilo Alpha.
Yeah, so if you use the scroll wheel, you can just type it in. I mean, I could type it in for you now if you wanted me to. I don't...
Golf. Nah, just do it because it's only one way.
You can actually, once you're on this state, you can actually type it in using the keyboard, but Hamish has keyboard buttons bound to different things in the plane. So it's a bit awkward actually typing, and because it just actually does weird stuff with the plane as well.
And it should.
Whereas for me, I don't have any buttons on my keyboard bound to anything.
And then, what do we do now, Reith?
And then you click Enter, and that will set a waypoint. Weirdly, that's a bit of a glitch where it adds 2. So if you just click Clear and OK, and Enter rather, once you're selected over OK, and that's fine. Cool. So we can see on the map, if you use the range button, you can see we're just doing a circular type, and landing back at EGKA Shoreham Airport.
Now this button here, I believe, is declutter.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure what it does. You've got to, right. Okay, so one thing you've got to make sure you do is that with the flight plan on, the flight plan will show the flight plan only. Yeah. So you want to turn that off, and then you can see stuff underneath the flight plan.
Right, I see. Right.
So if you want to look at, let's say, the menu or the progress bars, you won't be able to see them with the flight plan on top of them.
Should I press these now? Or
neither of those are really necessary at all. You don't really need to click them. You can use them for SIDS and stars and stuff, but for that, I'm not sure. I have looked it up in the past. I click it, nothing happens.
Right, okay. It says...
You can click it if you want. It just turns on or off. ELT. Not sure what ELT is. But it seems to make no difference to the flying experience. There is also an oxygen tank above your head. You can turn that on and off.
No way!
Nothing happens.
Can you do that?
Yes.
Oh my god.
If you look up, you can see it. And absolutely bugger all happens.
Where is this?
It's just there.
Yeah, sweet so.
You see?
No!
So you can turn that on and off.
Yes, the dial moves!
No difference to your flying experience. I'm not sure as to why it is implemented as a function.
Surely it's if you're planning on going into outer space, which we are doing today.
Exactly. So let's go into outer space.
1,000 meters.
Yeah. There are also sort of little things like the sun visor Hamish showed off there very briefly.
It could be quite useful.
Which can be quite useful. But those are sort of minor things. If you got the plane, you would notice them straight away. They're not very confusing as to looking at. Right. Okay. Anyway. So let's get started then. You want to put your, as with all planes, you want to put your flaps down just a little bit.
So the flaps, the little flaps by, oops.
The flaps, sorry, are just behind where my steering wheel is. If you can see them.
Mouse?
Your mouse is broken.
Might have run out of battery.
Oh no! This is so convenient. Okay, so now Hamish has sorted out his battery issue.
It wasn't even battery, I somehow turned it off by accident. Okay.
So you can see the flaps, Hamish. They are down. Down next to your fuel.
10 degrees of flaps.
10 degrees of flap. That's
that little white bar there. It shows you
actually where the flaps.
Yes, if I go like that,
it moves up.
You can see.
Yeah, exactly. You can also hear the.
Oh my god! No way! Look at the shadows.
Up and down, as well. Oh, the shadows actually work as a thing.
That's for sure.
I never noticed that. There is actually one other quick thing you want to do with the GPS before we take off.
Yeah.
If you go up to there, if you go to flight plan.
Yeah.
Hover over the first waypoint we want to go to. At the moment you can see EGKA, that's where we are.
Right.
So we want to go from
waypoint,
EGKA to GWC.
Yeah.
So if you click enter.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I want to activate this waypoint.
And it'll go purple.
You can see, and there's a nice arrow just to show you, and also on the map you can see that purple to show you that that's your active route. Which is all good. And that's everything pretty much. there is just I think that is pretty much everything.
Yeah.
You might come into this problem later on if you go over to the primary flight display.
Right.
That it doesn't actually the GPS starts in GPS mode, but the plane hasn't actually registered it. So you might want to click the SDI button to switch out of GPS mode.
What mode?
The SDI, CDI rather.
Okay.
And that changes the different modes, and you want to change through back to GPS. The plane is now registered. You're in GPS mode. It's a bit of a glitch. I found that one earlier. Clicking that won't change anything. That just switches you to GPS.
Yeah. Oh, shit,
so they're little things. If you go to PFD, I quite like to have the wind on.
Wind data.
Number 2 is probably the best one.
And
then
cool.
back. Do we actually have you got like perfect weather switched
It's
on?
real world weather.
Right. Well, it just happens not to be windy then. And then back again. The other stuff isn't really necessary because it tells you that information elsewhere on your screen. It's just
a score code here, 1-2000.
Yeah.
We're not going to change.
You can change your score. Do you want me to tell you how you can change your score?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Right. So if you go to the basically everything's done by either the two displays.
Screens, yeah.
Your score code is done where it says XPDR.
Yep.
And you click that, and then you click code.
Yeah.
And then you just type it in. So
Okay.
for this flight, our actual code would be 0021. Which is something you taught me in one of our first few videos.
Flying under 5,000.
Yes,
5,000
VFR under 5,000. Which
Cool.
is exactly what we're going to be doing today.
There we go.
Which is good. That's it really.
Cool.
We just need to taxi to the runway.
Yeah. Do we need to set a heading or anything?
Nope, we're all good where headings are concerned because we can switch
Oh,
straight
beautiful!
to
I
GPS.
love that it actually shows you what
GPS
heading you're like actually using.
Yeah. We can do headings if you want to.
That's fine.
Do you want to do that? Just to like be able to do like training in headings, and there is also the comms and stuff like that.
No, that's fine. We'll just use the GPS. I think will be quite cool.
Just the
from
GPS is fine.
Yeah.
Because one of the great things about this is that
We'll use headings when we're landing.
we have used VOR points, which is exactly what these points are.
Yes.
They're all VOR points. But they're not. We've used VOR as in actually guiding towards them using the VOR signals.
Yeah.
Whereas this uses GPS.
Yeah.
But it's GPSing us to the VOR points.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not using.
So we're actually using the GPS to guide us to VOR points.
It's
rather
programmed
than the
in VOR
radio
points,
signals.
pretty much.
So you don't have to keep putting in signals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can still do that just fine, as in all planes. From the most basic plane to this one.
Yeah.
But that's a different one. If you want to go see any of that, you can go to one of our previous training videos.
Got
on
quite a few. So.
VFR, VOR points and all of that. Anyway, so let's start taxiing. I want to take the parking brake off and just taxi as normal.
If you want to guide
to
me,
the yes, I shall do that. Pretty sure I know where I'm going, so we shall see. Right, so you want to take this sort of pathway you can see ahead of us. Slow down a bit, Hamish.
Yeah, I can't annoyingly because.
And take a left.
Just so I'm gonna go up a little bit, like so. Are we gonna?
Yeah, and then slow down. As you reach the holding point. There we go. I don't think you haven't got other planes activated.
We haven't got
have you?
traffic, no.
So we can go straight onto the runway because we know there won't be any other planes.
But it's always good to kind of get into a habit, especially if you're planning on going online, just looking left and right because it's kind of a procedural check. Or
well, there has been more than one occasion where I have looked left and right, then spent too much time faffing about with my autopilot and actually gone onto the runway, and that has actually been a full-on plane, like fucking landing.
Have we done the flaps? So can you check?
The flaps I think were done, yes, but we can always stop on the runway, which is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
You want to turn to your right, Hamish, so
it's just
up with the
because
runway,
it's
and stop on the as centered as you we don't have to be too sensitive. It's actually a very easy plane to fly, and you don't generally get a lot of unless there's a particularly bad wind or something like that.
I'm just going to check the flaps, so because obviously we don't want to. Yeah, say down. Okay, that's good.
Okay. So now you don't want to set the autopilot altitude and stuff before you take off,
right?
Because it will reset itself as you take off.
Right. Okay.
It's a bit weird, but hey ho, it's not a glitch. That is actually how it's meant to be.
Yeah.
So we just want to take off now. It's a very easy plane to fly. There are some planes that veer left or right slightly as you go down runways. I don't know if that's a glitch with FSX.
That is a glitch with me in particular, so we might go right quite dramatically.
What, just because...
Or left dramatically.
Oh, what, is that a glitch with your...
Well, I'm not sure. It might be, yeah. It's because, unlike you, I haven't got a rudder. This is my rudder.
Well, it should be very easy to fly.
Anyway,
so don't worry about it. Right, so let's just
I've got the fuel mixture on takeoff mode, which should ease us.
That's your fuel mix.
Not mixture, sorry.
You mean trim?
My trim, yeah.
We are actually going to have a look at the fuel mixtures and stuff later. We're not the most efficient at the moment, but I shall explain that once we're in flight and we've got nothing better to do.
Cool.
Do we want to take off?
Yeah, let's take off.
Yeah.
So let's spawn up. So I'm on 25%.
Yeah, you can more or less just go straight to full throttle. These engines, I mean, it's a single propeller aircraft. It doesn't have much in the way of
Here we go. Let's pray. It's not veering.
You still have to keep your hands on the yoke itself.
Oh god, it's veering. Mayday!
You're a terrible pilot. You really are.
Okay, what speed should I take off at?
And just lift up now. Yeah. Just keep us lifting. Keep us lifting. You don't have to work too hard. It actually keeps a very steady course. Right. Okay. So now, if we go down, if you level us out, not like still going forwards, but level is in left or right. No yaw or whatever.
Okay.
And if you go down to the autopilot panel,
okay,
you click AP, which is your far right button,
yeah,
and you click nav, which is the middle button, and altitude as well. Once you click altitude, it will set it a little bit, and you want to click scroll the knob to take us up to 5,000.
I'd say that's quite good. A good altitude. There we go.
And now we are flying itself, so you don't really have to worry about it. You can see we are turning.
It's beautiful. We can bring up our flaps now.
Yeah,
which
we
can
can
do.
also
You can
bring
hear
up the
the
flap.
background.
Yeah, and we are flying just fine. If you go over to the GPS, you'll be able to see the plane flying just fine. You can zoom in a little bit if you want, using the range scroll wheel.
There you go. That's cool.
One thing you'll find about this plane, especially if we haven't explained anything very well in this video, is that it's very easy to pick up. It's very self-explanatory.
Yeah.
I haven't had to go on any videos to go, how do I do this, how do I do that? I've literally figured it out myself.
Yeah.
Because it is that easy. The GPS in this plane is very simple. The only bit where I've got confused in the past is where it's like glitched, and I've had to figure out that it must be a glitch. But this plane with its GPS is very unglitchy.
And this is one of Carenado's latest releases. It's for FSX Steam Edition, and it works so well online. It's like you hardly ever get a plane like this which works this well online. What makes me think maybe we might invest in a Carenado jet or something like that, and we can do that online for me and Reith, because I'm actually using Reith's installed for the plane, so we didn't buy 2 copies of this plane. We both invested in one. Well, Reith invested in one, and I'm using his. Yeah. Which is really good. So yeah.
Right. So the next thing we want to do, since the plane is now basically flying itself.
Yeah.
We've put the waypoints into the GPS, which
yeah,
happen to all be VOR points. But it's just flying us on that line that we have plotted on the map.
Right, yeah.
and it will do so forever.
Right.
Until we tell it not to, i.e. when we're coming into land, we probably want to turn the autopilot off and land ourselves.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So that's all very good. The one thing we're doing at the moment, we're full throttle, full revs, full everything. We're not really doing very much that's very intensive. So you probably want to go into the plane.
Yeah.
And do something with the checklist.
Right, okay.
And a specific checklist that I discovered earlier. It's very interesting. If you click checklist, which is in the corner, and then you use the scroll wheel.
The inner or outer?
Outer.
Yeah.
And you can select normal. So the top one is emergency for ease of access, I guess. Sorry, not normal. Just you want to go on en route. And then click enter.
Okay. Oh wow.
And you can see that
airspeed. Yes, that is correct. Just.
Yeah. And you want but this is for en route climb.
Right.
So you want to change that.
Okay.
Using the outer knob again, as like pretty much always, and then click cruise.
We're not.
We are. I know. But I'll, by the time I've explained it, I will have gone to 5,000, so it's fine.
Okay.
And click enter. So you can see all of these things. The power, the 15 to 20 inch.
Yeah.
And you see this is for sea level to 15,000.
Right. Yeah.
Which we are at the moment.
Okay.
We're only at 5,000. We're only going up to 5,000. That is to do with the. That is to do with the this knob here, which is
this one here.
Yes,
yeah.
that one there. Can they see your cursor?
Yes.
Yeah. So the one Hamish is pointing to at the moment.
So I want
that's
to be
for that one there. No, not yet. We're climbing.
Yeah.
That
is just so cool. I seriously like that.
And then you've got your RPM.
Yeah.
Which is done not by the throttle, but by the by this the red knob.
Yeah.
Changes your RPM.
Okay, cool.
And you pull that out, and that is meant to be between 2,000 and 2,400 RPM.
And to be fair, that's what we are at the moment anyway, but
yeah.
we're climbing. So.
Sorry, that is your blue knob.
Yes.
Blue knob that does the RPM.
Yeah.
The red knob is your fuel mixture.
Yeah.
And if you look at the checklist, you'll see it says to be lean, which means, so if you go further down, it means the mixture control lean. And that means it's less, you want less fuel mixture. You can actually go down to 10% and it will be fine. Okay. 5% the engine starts to sputter and turn off a little bit, but that is very efficient.
So do we have to tick these off, or?
You can by clicking enter.
But we haven't actually done it, so there's no point ticking it off.
There's no point ticking it off yet, but you can, just for the sake of it, click enter.
Right.
And you'll notice that it will tick it and turn green and stuff.
Elevator and rudders trim, we've
already adjusted then.
It's on autopilot, so it is doing that for us anyway. Mixture is not in lean.
It's not lean.
We're not going to check it. We're going to try and do it sort of by book.
Yeah, so once we get to 5,000, we shall start to actually do this stuff. The cowl flaps, do you know what those are? Because I
No, I don't.
If you go down all the way to the bottom, like the bottom of the bottom, you see the cowl. It says these are cowl flaps.
Oh, right, okay.
And it's meant to be on close. That's fine. So leave it as it is now. I'm not sure what cowl flaps are. I should. I probably should.
You can see the. I'm not doing this, obviously. But
I suspect for takeoff or something they need to be open.
Right.
I suspect, which is why it's telling us to
float?
close them. That is a mic, yes. We can't use it.
Yeah,
it's
a bit
just
of
textual. But I guess if your headphones failed you, you can turn those on. That's your fuel. So left tank and right tank.
It's amazing how detailed this plane is. I love it.
So that's all good. What flight level are we on at the moment, Hamish?
4,600.
Yeah, so we're very close to actually being in cruise. And once we're in cruise, we can start changing these things
Oxygen,
to make it nice and efficient.
if we use yes, so we've got that.
Actually, if you just tick them all off, because I actually remember them, and go to...
next checklist? No, because I do want to make sure that we are
Yeah. Don't worry about the checklist. If you just go to exit, which is next to...
Hang on, I want to get this thingy.
Yeah, we can do that though, because I'll
go to next checklist.
I remember. No,
exit?
just exit.
Yeah.
Because I want to actually show you what it changes as you do it. You see at the moment we're on the map view.
Yeah.
And you see in the right hand corner there are different views.
Right.
I don't know if you can see this map, waypoint, orcs, nearest.
Yeah.
And they're different views, and at the moment we're on the first one, which is that blue square that's lit up. If you use the innermost knob on the FMS, innermost knob on the FMS, you can switch between them.
Oh, right, nice.
So you can see that's
your
airport, that's your final destination airport, which we set in the flight plan as Shulrook.
Shows you the ATIS and all this kind of cool stuff.
So it tells you all different stuff. It normally comes up with ILS information and stuff like that. This is probably the most useful one.
Yeah.
It gives you all sorts of information.
Now,
anything from...
what are we doing now? Because we've reached our cruising speed.
That's fine. We can just wait for a minute because it's flying itself. It will stay just fine.
Yeah.
One of the big things that I was looking at earlier, I was doing a very long flight.
Yes.
And I needed to check my fuel.
Where did you fly from?
I flew from an island just off Italy.
Right. North or south of Italy?
It was to the west.
West, okay.
It was west. God, I can't remember its name. They all come to me now. And I flew all the way to London Gatwick.
So it took about 3 hours or something like that?
3-4 hours, something like that. It was right at its limit of what this plane can actually fly.
Right.
And I had to be very careful about...
Did you plan that?
No. It just happened that way. And if I wasn't efficient with my fuel, which is why I had to look up all this stuff, the checklist, and how to be efficient with the fuel, so that I could actually get it. And the way I looked at, and the way you can actually look at this stuff, you see this fuel stats, efficiency. At the moment, that's 7.8. That's pretty crap.
Right.
7.8 is terrible. We're being very inefficient, but it's a very short flight, doesn't particularly matter. But we're going to change it.
Try us airspeed. That is not going to be indicated on this thing here. Because we're so low down to the ground, it's only 3 knots out, but that changes with height. So our true airspeed is actually that, which is about 150 miles.
You can see specifically what tailwind you're having.
Yeah.
So
which is replicated here.
Yeah, exactly. And all sorts of different things. It's very interesting. You can see the required fuel for this particular flight. Is 20 gallons.
Is this 1 hour and 28 minutes?
I'm not sure what that... I tried to figure out what the endurance is measured in, and I'm not sure.
Oh, 1 hour... Right, sorry. That's fuel stats. That means how long you have left of this fuel currently?
No. This is the remaining endurance for this flight, because you'll notice that the remaining endurance and the ETE are actually the same number. But I did try and figure out what the endurance is measured in, and I couldn't figure out because it's neither minutes or any gallons or litres or anything. So I'm not sure. But I'm sure someone could probably tell us.
So if you know, put it in the comments because
you'll notice where it says fuel on board 83 gallons, and for the flight that we've got, the fuel required is 20.1.
That's so cool.
So we've got plenty of fuel. The total range there, that's very important. That's the total range, not for this flight, but overall, generally for this plane, it can't go further than that, given these stats.
Right. Okay.
Because we're being very inefficient, it can only go 665.
Yeah.
For the flight I did earlier, that would not have got me anywhere.
Right.
So this is where that fuel mixture and stuff comes in. We need to know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
So we have you're actually right on the throttle. Your throttle is correct at 25.
Oh, cool. This is a barometric pressure.
Yeah. So you'll remember I said about your throttle earlier. It needed to be at 18 to 28.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and 25 is just fine.
Yeah.
Your revs, however, are a little high.
Right.
You can change that down using your RPM, but you want to be looking at them as you do that. You want it about
That's about good. The middle of a green really is like 2,000 to 2,400, I believe it said, so that's perfect.
So you can change that using the blue knob.
You can also reduce power, and that'll obviously, so if I do that, you'll see the RPM will also reduce, because that's just how
No, it's not. That's not at all correct.
I go like that, the RPM doesn't reduce?
No. Your throttle is to do with how much fuel you're putting into the engine. It's the same with the car. Your accelerator is to do how much fuel you're putting into the engine.
Yeah.
Your RPM, your engine will always do that.
Right, yes, I see, okay.
Which will change with your gears.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the amount of acceleration.
What's all this, Reith? Or were you saying?
That's I can tell you in a minute. And you can see already we haven't really done that much, and it's already gone from 7.3 to 8.3.
Right.
If you go down to your actual fuel mix,
right,
which is the red knob down there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You probably want to get that out of the way. Yeah. And you see it's 100% at the moment.
Yeah.
We don't need it. 10%.
Yeah, 10%.
10%'s fine. We don't really need that. Oh, yeah, 5%'s a little low. Maybe 15, Hamish. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And you'll see our efficiency is huge now. Look at that.
Fuck a dub.
I know. I suspect our engine is killing itself, slowly but surely, way too much air, but our efficiency is fucking amazing.
Right, okay.
So you can see now our total range is much higher.
So if I...
yeah, for the sake of not having such an annoying noise...
I'm 50%.
Yeah, because this flight isn't particularly long, we don't particularly need to worry about it.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's calculated all the stuff.